Okay, so this is the present simple and continuous. This is the first topic of the second unit. Okay, so let's make a small review about the present simple. Remember that we use the present simple to speak about routines, habits, facts, and things we do every day. And we use the present continuous to speak about things that are happening right now. Also, we can use both present simple and continuous to speak about the future. We use the present simple when we speak about timetables and schedules on the future. And the present continuous, we use it for speaking about plans in the future. So let's start with this grammar lesson. Brenda usually wears glasses, but she isn't wearing them today. Brenda regularmente o usualmente usa lentes, pero ella no los está usando hoy. The present simple. For positive sentences, remember that we just use the subject and the verb in the base form. For the negative form, we have to use the auxiliary do or does with the negative statement not, like don't and doesn't. And for questions, we use the do and the does as an auxiliary verb. Okay, here we have some examples like I play, I don't play, do I play, he plays, he doesn't play, does he play, you don't play, and do you play. Here we have more examples about the third person and the plural subjects of the pronouns like we play, we don't play, and do we play. So remember that we use does for the third person, that are he, she, it, and we use do with all the other pronouns. The spelling rules. Remember that here there is a thing that we have to add an S to the verb in the third persons for the positive sentences. Recuerden que aquí en el presente simple, que es el que usamos para hábitos, rutinas y cosas que hacemos cada día, nosotros tenemos algunas reglas que cambiamos el verbo cuando estamos hablando de las terceras personas. Acuérdense que siempre las terceras personas van a tener cierto tipo de reglas o de cuestiones diferentes, ¿sí? Son las enfadosillas en la vida normal y en la vida de la gramática. Entonces, vamos a repasar un poquito lo que son las spelling rules. Verb that ends in Y often change Y to IE before the S, like study, studies, try, tries, marry, marries, fly, flies, and cry, cries. Remember that the first rule is that you just have to add the S at the end of the verb. Y doesn't change to YE if the ending is I, A, O, or UE. So this means that when we have a vowel plus Y, we don't change them, but we just add the S at the end, like play, plays, say, says, buy, buys, enjoy, enjoys, and stay, stays. Verbs that end in ES, SH, SS, CH, or X, we often add an E before the S, so the ending will be S, like wash, washes, pass, passes, and teach, teaches. Repeated actions. That's a use. We use the present simple to express the idea that an action is repeated or usual. The action can be a habit, a hobby, a daily event, a scheduled event, or something that often happens. Acuérdense que el presente simple lo usamos prácticamente para eso. No para hablar de cosas que tengan que estar pasando ahorita, pero hablamos de cosas que pasan regularmente. Tenemos aquí algunas keywords como usually, frequently, sometimes, regularly, every day, weekly, daily, que esas nos ayudan a saber que son acciones que son repetitivas en nuestra vida. For example, I play tennis. This doesn't mean that right now I'm playing tennis, but this means that I know how to play tennis and I do it often. She doesn't play soccer, and do you play tennis? We have more examples like the train leaves every morning at 8 a.m., which is a scheduled event, okay? The train doesn't leave at 9 a.m. When does the train usually live. So this means that we're speaking about a routine or a schedule event or a timetable, okay? Here is another example. She always forgets her purse. She never forgets her phone. Why does she always forget her purse? So we have words that are like keywords for us, like always or never. Estas palabritas nos van a ayudar a saber que estamos hablando de eso, porque always o never, siempre o nunca. Here is another example. Every 12 months, Earth circles the sun. The sun doesn't circle the earth. Does the sun circle the earth? We're speaking here about a fact. Un fact es algo que nosotros damos por hecho, ¿sí? Son cosas que sabemos que por lógica ocurren. We also use the present simple to speak about facts or generalizations. Cuando nosotros queremos generalizar o facts son ese tipo de cosas que les digo que nosotros pues sabemos que suceden. The present simple can also show that the speaker believes that a fact was true before, is true now, and will be true in the future. ¿Okay? Entonces estamos hablando de que sabemos o creemos que algo es real ahorita, después, en el futuro y antes. For example, cats like milk. We suppose that cats like milk, but we really don't know that. Birds don't like milk. We don't know because we have never tried, or at least I haven't tried that. We know that California is in America and California is not in the United Kingdom, unless there is a small town called California, but we don't know it. Sushi comes from Japan and sushi doesn't come from Australia. We also use the present simple to speak about scheduled events in the near future, like timetables and that kind of things. For example, our class is every day at 7 a.m. or at 8 a.m. or at 2 p.m. or at any time, but every day, things that we know that they are going to happen. We also use the present simple to talk about scheduled events in the near future. This is most commonly done when talking about public transportation, but it can be used with other scheduled events as well. For example, the train leaves tonight at 6 p.m. The bus does not arrive at 11 a.m. It arrives at 11 p.m. When do we board the plane? When does class begin tomorrow? The party starts at 8 o'clock. Entonces aquí nosotros estamos hablando de horarios o de cosas que nosotros sabemos que van a ocurrir X días o tales días a tales horas. ¿Por qué? Porque ya está planeado. Aquí es cuando nosotros les decía que también lo usamos para hablar del futuro, como en el ejemplo que dice, the party starts at 8 o'clock. This means that if right now we were at 3 p.m., we know that the party starts until 8. So we're speaking about the future, a scheduled event in the future. Where does the adverb placement go? The examples below show that placement for grammar adverbs such as always, only, never, ever, still, just, etc. The adverb usually comes before the main verb of the sentence. If the main verb of the sentence is be, the adverb comes after, okay? Entonces yo les hablaba de unas keywords que generalmente son adverbios como always, que es siempre, only, es como únicamente o una sola vez, never, nunca, ever, siempre, still, just, etc. Y aquí dice que estos siempre van a ir antes del verbo principal de la oración, a menos de que sea el verbo to be. Let's look some examples here, like you only speak English, tú solo hablas inglés. Do you only speak English? If you can see the adverb that is in blue, it's before the main verb, which is in green. She doesn't always come late. I usually go to bed early. In these four first examples, we are using the adverb before the main verb because the main verb is not be. But if we have the verb be as the main verb, like in the last two sentences, like he's always late and she's never happy, the adverb will go after the verb, which is the verb to be, like is. He is always late. She is never happy. On the other hand, we have to speak about the present continuous. The present continuous, as I told you before, It's regularly used to speak about actions that are happening right now, at this precise moment. Generalmente el presente continuo lo usamos para hablar de cosas que están pasando en este preciso momento, ¿verdad? Por ejemplo, right now, I'm teaching the English lesson about the present continuous, okay? And we also can use the present continuous to speak about plans in the future that are already arranged. What does this mean? También podemos usar el presente continuo para hablar del futuro cuando hablamos de planes que estamos 99.99999% seguros que los vamos a llevar a cabo. We have here the form of the present continuous. In positive sentences, we use the subject, the verb be as am, is, are, and the verb with the ing ending. For the negative form, we use the subject, the verb to be, we add not, and the verb in ing, and we can use contractions here, like I'm not, you aren't sleeping, he isn't sleeping, she isn't sleeping, or she's not sleeping, okay? And for questions, remember that we use first the auxiliary verb, which is be, then the subject, and then the verb in the ing ending. And here we have some more examples. Okay, we use the present continuous for actions happening now. We use the present continuous to express the idea that something is happening now at this very moment. For example, you are not swimming now because you are learning the present continuous. Are you sleeping? No, you aren't because you are in class. I am sitting. Well, I really am sitting. You are learning English now, and I am not standing. Here we have more examples for questions like, is he sitting or standing? They are not watching television. What are you doing? What aren't you doing your homework? We also can use the present continuous to speak about things that are in the middle of doing something. What does this mean? Bueno, cuando nosotros decimos que estamos usando el presente continuo para hablar en medio de algo, que estamos en medio de algo, significa que yo empecé a hacer algo en un periodo de tiempo pasado, lo estoy haciendo ahorita y mi plan es continuar haciéndolo, ¿sí? Sometimes the action is not happening at the moment of speaking, but the present continuous is still used to mean that the speaker is in the middle of doing it and not yet finished. Entonces, quiere decir que no es algo que lo esté haciendo en este momento, pero durante este periodo de tiempo de mi vida lo estoy haciendo. Por ejemplo, I'm reading a book that is called The Goddess of Fortune, okay? This doesn't mean that right now I'm sitting here reading, but this means that last week I started reading the book, I'm in the middle of reading it, but I haven't finished the book. Here we have other examples like I'm starting to become a doctor, I'm reading a really interesting book these days, Samantha is studying at university. Quiere decir que yo estoy estudiando para ser doctor. No quiere decir que ahorita estoy sentado estudiando ahí con el libro ahí de la toxicología, de los medicamentos, pero en este periodo de tiempo de mi vida yo lo estoy haciendo. We also use the present continuous to speak about longer actions around now, okay? This means that activities for a longer period of time. The present continuous can be used with today, this week, this month, this year, ¿ok? Podemos usarlo para hablar de cosas que vamos a estar haciendo en el transcurso del día, de la semana, del mes, del año, etc. Pero un periodo de tiempo un poquito más largo. Here we have some examples. I'm having a good month this month. I'm making lots of sales. He's coughing a lot today. He must be sick. We also use the present continuous to speak about changes happening around now, things that are happening like in the world or in the news. The present continuous can describe things that are changing around now. This is especially true when describing changes with the following verbs: increase, rise, fall, improve, grow, begin, start, change, become, or get. Like, I'm getting tired of the online classes. Let's see some examples here. Have you seen gas prices recently? Prices are really rising. ¿Sí? ¿Han visto los precios del gas? Últimamente, los precios están subiendo. Eso es algo real en la actualidad. El otro día trajeron el gas a mi casa y creo que fueron como muchos dineros más que la última vez que pedimos. I love this time of the year. Flowers are growing and birds are singing. Well, I think right now flowers aren't growing, but I hope next month this is going to happen. Your English is really getting better. We also use it, as I told you before, for speaking about sure plans about the future. This means arranged plans, things that I'm pretty sure I'm going to do. Speakers often use the present continuous to describe future plans. The use of the present continuous means they are sure their future plans will happen. ¿Qué quiere decir esto? Que yo estoy así, si yo estoy diciendo I'm traveling to Europe, it's because I already have my ticket of the plane and I'm already on the trip, okay? Here we have more examples like I'm meeting some friends after work, I'm not going to the party tonight, is she visiting his parents next weekend, or isn't he coming with us tonight? Where does the adverb placement goes here? The examples below show the placement for grammar adverbs that we use in the present continuous, such as only, currently, still, and just. Again, the adverb usually goes before the main verb. For example, you are still watching TV. Tú aún sigues viendo la televisión. Are you still watching TV? He's only playing games. Él está únicamente jugando juegos en la, ¿cómo se llama? En la consola. Okay, so now let's take a look at the exercises here. Okay, so this is the exercise of the present simple and continuous. For the following sentences, is the grammar in blue correct or incorrect? If it's incorrect, write the correct version in the space below. If it's correct, just write correct, okay? Entonces vamos a ver las oraciones que vienen aquí. Si lo que está en azul está bien o si la oración es correcta, entonces yo le voy a poner abajo correct. Pero si la oración no está bien, entonces yo la voy a cambiar al tiempo que debe de ser. Here we have the example. I never wake up late. I'm always waking up early. I cannot say I'm always waking up early. I have to say I always wake up early because it's a routine or a habit that I have. The second one says, it takes me 30 minutes to get to school every day. This one is correct, okay? Do you hear that somebody is cutting the grass outside? So this one is correct. So I'm just going to write correct. Everything, we're not using here capital letters. Todo en minúscula, ¿ok? Cuando pongan correct. Y cuando pongan oraciones, pues hay que poner, iniciar con mayúscula. Y vamos a terminar con punto final cada oración. ¿De acuerdo? Number 2. Choose either the present simple or present continuous to complete the following sentences. She do her laundry now. You can say she's doing her laundry now, she's doing with the contraction, or she's not doing. But right here, she is doing her laundry now. Entonces, van a poner una sola oración. No hay necesidad de poner las tres, únicamente la que sea correcta. Por ejemplo, I live with a great roommate these days, but she moved out next month. Okay, entonces yo diría, I am living with a great roommate these days, but she is moving out next month, because we're speaking about a fact. Then number 3 exercises, put the adverbs in parentheses in the correct place in the sentence, like I sleep in my living room. I never sleep in my living room. The question says, do your eyes water? So the question will be, do your eyes ever water? Remember that here we have to start with a capital letter here and we have to use the question mark, ¿ok? Cuando hacemos preguntas hay que iniciar con mayúscula, terminar con el signo de interrogación, y cuando son oraciones positivas o negativas hay que iniciar con mayúscula y usar el punto al final de cada oración. Number 4, complete the sentences about the future in either the present simple or present continuous, ¿ok? Remember that we can use the present simple or present continuous to speak about the future. So you're going to choose which one are you going to be using here. What time does the movie start? Because we are speaking about a scheduled time. Where are you going tonight? Okay. So you're going to use each depending on what does the sentence says, ¿ok? Se tienen que fijar bien aquí a ver si están en presente simple o en presente continuo, ¿ok? Por ejemplo, aquí en esta que tenemos, estamos hablando de un horario, la fábrica cierra esta tarde a las 6, the factory closes this evening at 6 p.m. The factory closes this evening at 6 p.m. dot. Okay, so if you have any question, remember that you can ask me and text me a message. Okay.